All right, here we are. No intro, no nothing, just kicking it right off right away. How you doing? I'm Jeff Royds. If it's Wednesday and it's 6 o'clock, it must be time for the Chronicles of Michael Talbot, the podcast. Joining me tonight is nobody. I might be solo, not sure. Amber is no longer with us. She had to bow out regretfully. She's got a lot going on with school and work and moving. So she might jump in time to time, but for the time being, we are Amberless, which is very sad because I really like doing the show with Amber. And I think we're all really going to miss her. She had some really great insight about the books, and she definitely added a lot to the podcast. Chris is running late, and I have no clue what Jason is. If you follow along, the tech issue that we had, I screwed up and made the link. When I do the links for the show, I do them on my phone, excuse me. And the writing is really small, and I have to wear glasses when I read, and I'm in kind of glasses denial, old man denial, that I need glasses to read. So I forgot to check it. And on the calendar, it looks like I'm clicking on Wednesday, but I clicked on Tuesday. So if you came in last night, Tuesday, expecting there to be a show, there wasn't. So when I got in tonight to look at the thing and I went, oh, what the hell? This isn't going on. This is tonight. So I had to recreate another link, and hopefully Jason and Chris will chime in. So I'm going to keep my phone on. The volume is going to be on so I can hear everything. But this week was going to be a short show anyway. Excuse me, let me move my mic a little bit closer. Was going to be a short show. Say that 5 times fast. Short show anyway, because we are doing. So what happened was after, I'm not sure if this is after or before. I'm gonna be looking at my phone a lot for notes and looking at the screen. Mark was a part of a compilation book called Missions from the Extinction Cycle, Volume 1 by Nicholas Sansbury Smith. Now, if you're a fan of Nicholas Sansbury Smith, you don't know who he is. He writes the Extinction Cycle series. And what that series is exactly what it sounds like. It's an extinction cycle, and he puts them all in together.
Am I upside down?
You are upside down. You were sideways. Evening, Nyoka. How are you? So, just explaining to everybody what is happening with the book. So, just to kind of rewind for Chris's sake, I don't know where Jason is, and Amber is no longer with us. Amber had to bow out. She's moving. She got a new job with work, her new position at work, and she's going to school. So it's hard for her to make the show every Wednesday night anymore. So she might jump in from time to time. Who knows? But we're really going to miss her. So that kind of stinks.
Yeah, we are.
So we're jumping into the extinction cycle, or tales from the extinction cycle. So what the extinction cycle is that Nicholas Sansbury writes them, and it's from the real life perspective. If zombies were real, how would they become real? And he goes from there. Bronson Pinchot, I believe, narrates a lot of his books because he narrates this one. And if you did listen to it, you really understand just how much Sean is the voice of Mike BT Tripp and everybody in the Tufo universe, because it sounds a lot different listening to, Serge from Beverly Hills Cop or Alec Balky from Perfect Strangers do a Mike Tripp and BT voice. But there's a forward at the beginning of this book. And what I did was I voice memoed it and recorded it to like a text copy, speech text. Jesus Christ, I can't talk. I literally just got home from work too. So let me read this. And then Chris, you and I will get into the story. Good?
Sounds good.
All right, good. So this is the forward by Nicholas Sansbury Smith that takes place at the beginning of the Extinction Cycle book 1, or Tales from the Extinction Cycle. Excuse me. It's Tales from, because he does the Extinction Cycle. All right, here we go. My best live read. I suck at this. This is why I don't do radio anymore. Dear listener, thank you for picking up a copy of Missions from the Extinction Cycle. These are not just missions. I have selected these reader favorites because I believe they pay homage to Team Ghost in the extinction cycle storyline I've created. Please note, all of these stories were previously featured in Amazon's Extinction Cycle Kindle world. As you may know, Amazon ended the Kindle World program in July 2018. Authors were given a chance to republish or retire. I just linked up and I lost my place. Sorry. I'm scrolling up with the screen. Republish or retire their stories. And I jumped at the chance to republish them and share them with you under my small press, Great Wave Inc. For those of you that are new to the storyline, The Extinction Cycle is the award winning Amazon top rated and half a million copy best selling books saga. There are over 6,000 five-star Amazon reviews alone. Critics have called it World War Z and The Walking Dead meet the hot zone. Publishers Weekly added Smith has realized that the way to rekindle interest in zombie apocalypse fiction is to make it louder, longer, and bloodier. Smith intensifies the disaster efficiently as the pages flip by, and the readers who enjoy juicy blood and guts action will find a lot of it here. In creating the Extinction Cycle, my goal. Nope, that's not Jason. That's the United States government calling me. That's a spam call, kids. All right. In creating the Extinction Cycle, my goal was to use authentic military action and create science to take the zombie and post-apocalypse genres in an existing new direction. Exciting new direction. Sorry. Some of the words got cut off on this too. I didn't have time to go back and really edit everything. So bear with me. Forget everything you've learned about zombies. In the Extinction Cycle, they aren't created by black magic or supernatural means. The ones found in the Extinction Cycle are created by a military bioweapon called VX-99, first used in Vietnam. The chemicals reacted to the proteins encoded by the genes that separate humans from wild animals. In other words, the experiment turned men into monsters. For the first time, zombies are explained using real science, so real there is very possibly that the sentence didn't pick up possibly. Basically just saying this is what could really happen if this was to go. VX-99 gas could make real zombies, which is terrifying. But these creatures aren't the unthink, slow-minded, shuffling monsters we've grown and accustomed to love in other books and movies. These variants are more monster than human through the series. The variants become the hunters as they evolve from the don't know what that word is. Eventual changes, scrambling to find a cure and defeat. The monsters is almost done, thank God. The monsters' humanity is brought to the brink. The monsters' humanity is brought to the brink of extinction. We hope you enjoy each of the 5 Extinction Cycle missions and will continue to the main series. But if you like it, thank you for listening. Best wishes, Nicholas Sansbury Smith, USA Best Author Selling of the Extinction Cycle series. Okay, and we lost Nayoka on that one. I don't blame her. I do horrible live reads. So Mark's story is literally a short story. All the other stories in this book are maybe 2 hours, an hour at best. There's like 8 or 9 chapters. Mark's was 4 chapters. And what he did was I asked Mark, here we go, more reading. I asked Mark to give me a little bit of insight on this story because it's really cool. Definitely go and pick it up. And he said, so at the time, Audible was doing this thing where they were opening up authors' worlds to other authors to write stories in those worlds, which I tried to get ZF into, but no go. So when Nicholas reached out, I was like full steam ahead, hoping this would give some leverage to get my own damn books in there. I don't think this program was as successful as they hope because it didn't last that long. So it was other authors collaborating with other authors. which is good. Other
Gotcha.
podcasts do that. We've had other
Yeah.
podcasters on this show. We had Walt from the B Raw podcast. It's just cross promoting, and I listened to all of these stories, and I really liked them. Did you read any of them but Mark's, Chris?
Oh, I read them all.
You did. Okay,
Yeah.
so they
Yeah,
were
I read
good,
them
weren't
all.
they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, they were great. And honestly, I read all the Extinction Cycle before I ever found out about Mark Tufo.
Mm-hmm.
So I read that stuff first. So it was kind of nice reading these because it was on my list to read. But I mean, Mark's books kind of took a priority.
So you
Let's be
found
honest.
Mark through these series,
Well,
through
I
the
found
Extinction
Mark
Cycle series?
after these series. After this series,
Right.
my buddy Jason,
Mm-hmm.
he won't ever come on the show. I've tried to get him on here before, but I was like, hey, just message Jeff and you can join the show too. You're very knowledgeable
Mm-hmm.
because we used to go back and forth. I talked to him before I ever started talking to you guys about the Mark Tufo books. So
Yeah. Wow. So that's kind of cool then that you did that.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah. I think you had mentioned him before to me. So yeah, come on the show, dude. As you can see and hear, we're basically a bunch of shitheads just yapping about stuff. So
facts.
there we go. Yeah. Nyoka's got the big store. Oh, yeah, she's down in the storm area. Hope you stay safe there, kiddo. We need as many listeners as we can. And we also need you to be safe. So hearts and thoughts and positive vibes go to anybody who is in Debbie's path. Damn it, Debbie, screwing shit up for people. Yeah, I didn't know about Nicholas Sansbury until I knew about Nicholas through the Helldivers series. It was one of those that came up in my, you like Mark Tufo, you may like this author. So in a
Are those
way,
good?
yeah, those are really good.
Okay,
I like them.
I've
It's a
been thinking
different
about.
take on the apocalypse.
Oh, nice. So I like
Yeah,
apocalypse books. So
yeah, pick it up. It's definitely worth the in between Mark stuff. It's definitely worth the listen. I've gotten as far as book 4 in the series. Aaron in the chat is saying Helldivers. Yeah, Aaron likes the books too. So it's a really good series. So definitely give it a listen or a read. So this one, it comes in. I don't know where in the timeline it comes in because they're up in Maine, Mark's Tale, and it's Deneau, Tripp, BT, and Mike, Tripp, BT, and Deneau, sorry, are going to go to the local hospital because Mike's mother-in-law, Carol, is having trouble breathing. So it's kind of early on in the ZF series because Carol's still alive. Spoilers, Carol dies.
yeah.
80 years old in the zombie apocalypse. There's not much of a chance you're going to be sticking around. So
Doesn't
they're going to be,
Carol outlive Ron though?
I'm not sure.
I'm
I don't
trying
think
to
she
think.
did. I don't think she
Oh,
outlived Ron. I thought Ron, I think Ron was kind of his last family member to eat it.
gotcha.
And I think, yeah, I'm almost positive. If anybody knows about that, chime in the chat and let us know who went first, Ron or Carol. So BT volunteers to go to the hospital to get a nebulizer. He's like, I'll be right back. And Tripp's like, I'm going to go with you. Yeah. Aaron says, ask Nate. Nate, if you know who died first, let us know. And then Mike comes out and says, oh, we got to go get a nebulizer or tell the story. So, and then Deneau is just bored as hell. So she's going to go with them. So they all get in Ron's truck, as always. BT is driving. Deneau's riding shotgun, and Mike and Tripp are in the back seat. And Tripp is filling up canteens for the journey. And Tripp gives everyone a canteen, and everybody sips it and takes a sip of water. Now, what happens when you eat or drink something that is handed to you by Tripp? Anybody?
You get
Anybody? You get dosed. It's like hanging out with
Yes.
Jerry Garcia back in the 70s, okay? You got dosed. And that's exactly
This-
what happened.
The sad thing is, BT knew that, and he still got dosed.
Yeah, because he still
'Cause-
took the drink. He drank the Kool-Aid, basically, is what happened.
Yeah, because he refused the first one. He's like, "No, I'll take one that you haven't started filling up yet,"
Yep.
and he still gets dosed, which is hilarious.
Tripp is tricky, man. So
Yeah,
as
which
they're
means
good.
Oh, I was just gonna say it means that Trip had to have dosed all four canteens before
Hmm.
he ever started filling them up. So he knew from the beginning that
Hmm.
even Deneau was going to be on the list. Which, if Deneau wasn't there, BT would have bought it.
Yeah, probably. But Trip being Trip and having the all-seeing eye in the multiverse, he knows
Yeah.
who was going to come on this road trip with him. So he made sure he had everybody set up. Yeah, Aaron says down in the chat, dosing a cop, shame on everyone. Um, so as they're driving down the road, they see fog, and BT's like, "Fog, what is going on here?" And Trip's like, "Oh, sorry, I had to." And then all of a sudden, wakes up in the truck, and Trip is outside arguing with Mike and saying there was no other way. I had to do it. Mike has been privy to Trip's dosing before, and Mike kind of knows what happened because he's been a part of the shrouded world and what going through the vapor barrier or the shimmer is like. BT has no clue, and neither does Deneau. But Mike tells them as BT's about to rip Trip's head off, there's a reason for this. Don't kill him. We're going to need to know what's going on. Deneau knows right away that they're in Atlanta, that they're not in Maine anymore. Mike tells BT, listen, we're not in Kansas anymore, kids. We're not in Maine. You need to check your surroundings because this is what's happening. And then Trip goes through and tells them, BT asks Mike, and this is why I felt it kind of tied in with the shrouded world. Is this part of your alternate realities with Jack Walker and the Whistlers and the Night Runners and everything else? Because Mike had told them about what happened. So the shrouded world was kind of brought back to reality in the Zombie Fallout series. Mike had told them what had happened. So as they're in Atlanta, Mike's explaining to them if this happened, there's got to be a reason for it. And this is probably the most lucid Trip has ever been in any story, even in book 4 of A Shrouded World. And he explains to them, listen, he goes between dimensions. He's got to keep the drugs to keep his sanity. And then all of a sudden he's gone and Dano's like, and he's out. Yep, there he is. So when they're there, they're in the middle of a road and Trip tells him, we got to get in the house. We're in this dimension. These people need us. This is important. He explains to them how important the multi worlds are, that if this one falls, it will set off a chain reaction that will cross over into all the other ones. Now, I skipped, and my apologies. I'm going off of memory on this one. At the beginning of the story, it's set on a college campus, and on the college campus is it's at one of the where the CDC is. That the CDC was creating a cure for Ebola. But they were also weaponizing it. The government was weaponizing Ebola against our enemies, and it went horribly wrong and turned people into not zombies, but just pustule laden creatures that are hell bent on just eating everything. So at the beginning of this tale, we're on a college campus and the monsters start attacking all of the students. And this is where Mike and BT, Deneau, and Trip end up. They have to get to the CDC building at a certain point because Master Sergeant Beckham and his team are trying to rescue Dr. Lovato, who is the key to saving this entire universe. Now, we all read the Zombie Apocalypse series. We understand how Mark loves to send the military out to save scientists because they are important, quote unquote, by the higher ups to save what's ever going on. And they're on a limited time schedule because the military is going to blow up the entire school and kill everybody in there. And that's basically the whole story. You kind of find out a little bit as to what it is. We're not going to tell you the whole thing, even though we kind of did already. But it's kind of like, you ever play that game Perfection where you set the timer and all the pieces are in there and you got to try to put the pieces on the board to match up with the different shapes and sizes before it pops up and everything just goes flying. That's what they're
Yeah.
doing. They're kind of playing a game of pop up. They have to fight all of the variants. They're not called zombies in this, they're called variants. They have to get to the CDC. They have to save Master Sergeant Beckham so he can save somebody else. So it's a rescue mission for a rescue mission.
Yep.
So I like this story. It was short, it was sweet, and I wish it went on a little bit longer because you read it, Chris, so you know it's the
Yeah.
shortest of them all. There's only 5 stories in this book of little novellas, and it's a thick book. It's a big, good sized book, but Mark's is the shortest, and I think he did that for the reason of he wanted to bring in zombies, and they said no, you have to do it. It has to fall under here are the parameters that you're writing a story in. Has to be VX-99 gas that was invented during Vietnam, and it has to be weaponized, and it creates these variants. You have to write your characters around this story and go. I think Mark did an awesome job writing it.
Oh, absolutely amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. I like the other stories, but I'm always going to like Mark first because StreamYard has lost access to your Facebook account. Don't worry, we'll get it covered. Yeah, whatever. All right. So if you're on Facebook and you just dropped out, sorry, I don't know what the hell's going on. So yeah, I really, really liked it. And I listened to all the rest of them, and they're good. Don't get me wrong, but they don't have all right. It was weird hearing somebody else's voice do Mike because Mike sounded very high pitched and nasally and spoke really fast.
Yes.
Trip sounded a lot like Tommy Chong, and he was very stonerish, man. Deneau wasn't Beno, and BT had a southern accent sometimes. Did you
Yeah.
pick that
Yeah,
up?
I did. I thought it was weird.
Yeah. Bronson Pinchot's a great actor. Don't get me wrong. I think he's funny, but I'm not too sure on him reading Talbots. Sorry.
Yeah.
He's good, but I would expect it a little bit more from him because he's such a good actor and he can do different characters. So why didn't he do different characters? You know, I get it. You're not going to go back and listen to everybody's story to do research for this. It's just you're getting a paycheck because you're an actor and you're doing an audiobook. So be it. But I really liked it. Excuse me. On where Mark went with it and how he did it. But he never brought these variants back into the other world. You know, we had kind of Night Runner-ish characters with the Grievers, but we never had Whistlers in this world. But the only time they crossed over with that was in A Shrouded World. We never got variants in A Shrouded World, even though they're kind of a part of it all because Trip is the interdimensional time-jumping whore, as Mike puts it.
Yeah, but
And
like could you imagine if variants were added to a Shrouded World? Like the
yeah, they
Night
had enough
Runners were
trouble as
that nuts.
is.
Like
Yeah.
the variants are like it's paralyzing when you first see them. They're so grotesque and alien
Mhm.
but human at the same time that
Yeah.
even Deneau got freaked out. Like she literally couldn't smoke a cigarette for like a good chunk of the book because of
Mhm.
how freaked out seeing that variant was.
Yeah, it's scary. And the variants they're humans. They're created by humans. They got big pustule welts all over their faces. You ever saw the movie The Rock with Nicolas Cage and Sean
Yep.
Connery and Ed Harris, where they got the serum gas? It just makes your skin deteriorate your skin and eat your insides eat your body from the inside. They're similar to that, but their mouths, Trip called them baby tremors. The movie Tremors. I don't know if you
Yep.
ever saw that one from the 90s. It's just a giant worm with a huge ass mouth with a bunch of teeth. That's what he described them as. And they got all different types. There's kid ones. Mike says the thing where they took out an 8-year-old, looks like an 8-year-old. And there's all different ages of them. And they're frightening as hell. They can run, they eat, but you don't have to shoot them in the head to kill them. You can just shoot them regular and they'll go down. That's the one plus of them. So they're similar to Night Runners in
Yeah.
that aspect where they're not zombies. You don't have to aim for the head to get them to go down, which was good.
Regular like body shots will take them down, but it takes a lot of body shots to take them
Mm-hmm.
down. It's not
Right.
it's not like it's shoot them once in the chest and they're done. No, you're
Yeah.
gonna have to hit like 3 or 4 times in the around their heart in
Mm-hmm.
order to kill them.
Yeah. They're like
Because
they're like on
they have
they're on PCP where they don't realize they got
yeah,
shot
and
and
they
they got to
have
keep
an
going.
incredible healing factor. Like if you don't kill them, you
Mm-hmm.
give them a little bit of time and they're back to normal.
Right. Yeah.
So
And they're terrifying as all hell. I I wish he had brought these into the universe, and I get why he did it because that's Nicholas's character
Yeah.
from his series, which I get why he didn't bring Night Runners and Whistlers into the ZF world because that's John O'Brien's characters. So I like it when it's kind of like when musicians play with other musicians and they play each other's songs, like back in the 50s and 60s, they used to do that a lot. And in the country
Yeah.
world, they do that a lot. They'll play each other's music. This was kind of cool that Mark got to play with someone else's toys, with someone else's characters, and got to see what he can do with them. And he did a great job doing it. I wish he was able to do more with them, but the series, Audible canceled it all, so that kind of sucks.
Did you notice kind of the similarities between the zombie virus and the
The
variant virus?
VX, yeah, the
Yeah, the VX,
VX99,
whatever. How
yeah,
people were they were locked in their body, but they weren't at the same time. Like
hmm
with the VX, they were changed. Like they kind of knew who they were, but
hmm
not really
yeah,
anymore. Whereas with the zombie virus, as we found out, a lot of times people were locked inside and trapped, watching
yep.
behind eyes they couldn't control.
I think that makes it more terrifying as you're trying to kill
Absolutely.
these people because the real person is kind of still in there and you can kind of see them, you know? And I like how authors nowadays are trying to explain, and they're terrifying the shit out of us, that zombies could be real. We really could get zombies. And it went as far as during the pandemic, the CDC on their website released something, whether it was a joke or not, I don't know, what to do in the case of a zombie apocalypse because they're injecting all these people with all this crap and they're saying, we don't know what's going to happen. But if a zombie apocalypse does happen by chance, here's what to do. And you're like, are
Stay
you
home, aim
kidding
for the head.
me? Yeah. And I started reading the Zombie Fallout series in 2019. So it was right before COVID. And it was like, does Mark know something? What the F is going on? Who is this gentleman? I need to befriend him and find out what is going on. And just
Right.
realize he just has a terrifying sense of imagination. So, um, so of course, because it's Mike, Tripp, BT, and Deneau, they end up saving the day and brought back to where they started. And BT and Deneau have no idea what happened. Mike has an idea, and Tripp knows. And Mike says to BT before you get out of the car, he's going to do something, shoot something or whatever. And Mike's like, BT's like, where are my bullets? Where are my rounds?
Well,
BT and Deneau
B,
don't remember what they did.
so yeah, BT doesn't have any memory of it, and Mike is like, "Did we just come back from another world?" Because he's questioning Trip on it, and Mike's
Yeah.
like, or BT's like, "We didn't go anywhere. We're on the way to the hospital. You just fell asleep."
Yeah.
And Mike's like, "Really? Where's your ammo? Check your pockets." And he's like, "They must have just fallen out."
Yeah. He wants to
So
get out of the car and look for his ammo. And Deneau
yeah,
says that she's out too. And Mike has been through this before. And as you know, when we did the Shrouded World Series, if you go through the shimmer, you lose your memory. You lose somewhat of your memory. Did
yep.
Trip dose Mike with something different so he would remember? Or when he did group hug at the end before the shimmer came through and they all went back to their universe, that Trip was holding Mike tighter and brought him
I
back to reality.
honestly, I think it has more to do with his vampire virus, with that healing factor he
Hmm
has.
Yeah.
Because the first time he went to the Shrouded World, he lost all of his memory, and that was when he was a lot newer of a vampire. Whereas
Yeah.
later on, he does remember quite a bit of it. So,
Right. No, good point. Good point. So,
so
um,
I I did I it was kind of weird the group hug part right there at the end because like I had to back up. I had to back up and re-listen to that part because I was like, wait, group
mhm.
hug, and then they're back. So
Yeah, I
yeah, like
forgot why Trip
they're
did that. Like when the shimmer came through, you have to hold on to him or everybody has to grab on. How fucked
and
up would it be if
they were getting overrun in that state
big
house
time?
room. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
They're about to get wiped out at the school.
yep.
So it's a good thing that Trip did that and they all got
Hmm.
brought back. I think it would have been cool if Deneau didn't grab onto him, and she either got left behind or got taken to another existence, another
I would
reality.
have.
But then we wouldn't have Deneau. So, and you got to explain to the readers why Deneau is no longer just disappears and she's no longer in the book.
I mean, it could have just been another universe, another
Yeah, that's where
reality.
she would go. Yeah. So, do we
So,
get a point from Deneau's reality in this next one? Or
oh
if it had continued, what would that be like? What would a solo Deneau book be? We kind of got that at the end of one of the not Etna Station,
well,
but one of those other military bases.
yeah.
But uh,
Well, we got to see
like
what Deneau was like in the with the Demancey group
that's what it was, the
when
Mency
she.
group
Yep.
when she
Yep.
did it. Yeah, and she kicked ass again in this one, as always. Deneau being the crack shot, she wasn't as much of a self-centered bitch in this one. And I think
I
because it
know.
was early enough, I think it was early enough in the ZF series, kind of in that sweet spot where she was, you don't know if she's friend or foe, but right now she's playing the good girl and playing on Team Talbot.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
yeah, like I said, it's going to be a short one this week. It's not a very long story, but definitely check it out. Takeaways from this one, Chris. What are your final thoughts on this one? It's called Trippin', is from the
Any
Extinction
book with
series.
Trip is always going to be a good book in my book. He's a wonderful character.
Mm-hmm.
Um, hopefully, Angel Trip comes back a little more often in the future. And of course, we also got the God's Undoing, so we get Trip in that one as well. So
Yeah.
uh, I did like how Deneau was ready and willing. Like, granted, she was probably bored out of her mind
Mm-hmm.
sitting at Ron's house, but I mean, she was also like, "Who would you rather have your back?" When she was talking to BT, would you rather have me
Mm-hmm.
or Drug Boy?
Yeah,
So
because BT was like, she ain't coming with us.
yeah, so this
No,
was
I'll do it
definitely the
myself.
time when she was trying to prove herself
Mhm.
as a valuable ally.
Yeah, and I think she did. I think she definitely
Yeah,
did, and if you read all these in chronological order, whatever the timeline is this one in Mark's family tree that he has, this
no,
story? Okay, so it's
I don't
just his
believe so.
books.
Yeah,
Okay, so he doesn't do, like, the zombie hunt books that he did with the other authors or anything like that? Like,
I
he does
don't.
collaborate it's not a collaboration it's a collaboration book, but he doesn't write it with the other authors. Each authors tell a different tale. Because
Yeah,
once we get into the solo stories, we're going to get into the one he did for the Gary Sinise Foundation, The End of the World as We Know It. Um, we'll start talking about that one. And Mark's obsession with killing bugs. And his Pulse, I don't know if Pulse is in there as well. Pulse is in the tree. So a lot of people don't know what the hell we're talking about, but we will find out
I haven't
very
read
shortly.
Pulse, so I look
Pulse is
forward
really
to.
good. You're going to
Yeah,
have
I
the
think I
opportunity.
looked on Audible and I couldn't find it.
No, it was a part of the Book of Riley novellas when they released all of them together or at the end of book one. I'm not sure. I have all of them. Mark had sent me a PDF of all the Riley books. I have them all anyway, but he sent me
Yeah.
that so I could get Pulse because that's at the end of it. It's another short story about Mark's fear of bugs up there in the wilderness of Maine. So,
Okay.
um,
Maybe you
which
can send it to me.
when we get to it, I could probably say it now because I've already cleared it with Mark. I'm going to, similar to the Parent Plague, I'm in the midst of narrating Pulse, and it's going to be available on the podcast page as an exclusive. So you'll be
Oh,
able
hell
to
yeah.
hear this other story. It's not a Mike BT. It's totally different characters. So nobody get mad that I'm reading, Mike and BT and Tripp and all of them. It's just like the Parent Plague, where it's new characters and just a different short story that he wrote. Not sure if he wrote it for Halloween or when he did it, but I'll probably finish it when I get back from Jamaica in 2 weeks. So it'll be up on the podcast page. I'll let you guys all know. So, but when we come back, we'll be off next week. There will be no show, kids. But the week after, we are going to be doing God's Undoing, the God's Undoing. So if
Yes.
you have not read the new book, you need to do it because it is so freaking good. I can't wait to talk about it. You've read it, right?
Oh God, yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
definitely. I just want to say to whoever got the signed copy of the God's
Mhm.
Undoing, I am jealous of you because you got to it before I did. I
Is
tried.
he doing
I
signed
tried.
copies?
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
he's
okay.
not doing the lefty signatures, but he
Okay.
had he did his bulk showroom. I tried to get Callous Rose, and I tried
Mhm.
to get the God's Undoing, and both of those sold out. So I ended up getting a couple of the Lycan Fallouts.
Oh, cool.
So,
Oh, yeah, when he did his book sale, his yard sale or
yep.
whatever. That's good
Yep.
that he got rid of him
So
because he had a lot. I know he's been trying to,
honestly, yeah, and buying them straight from him is usually cheaper than going through Amazon, and it's a
and
signed copy. So
he gets 100% of those proceeds,
yeah. So
which is good. All the money goes to him. When I met him at the meet and greet, Christ, 2 years ago, or whatever, I asked him, "What's the best way to support you that you get the most amount of money?" And he said, "Probably an ebook." He sees the biggest royalties because Amazon just pays him directly a flat out fee, I believe. If I'm getting this wrong, I apologize. But they pay him in advance. They say, "Okay, here's your millions. We're going to buy everything that you do and we're going to publish them in the audio, and Amazon pays Sean and all of that." Mark just gets his upfront fee. I think he gets a small percentage of each audiobook that is sold. But when you buy something directly from him, like he did those sales of the books when he did the Lefty books and all of that, he gets that money. That's money in his pocket. So that's the best way to support any artist. If you go to a convention or if you're in a fan club or something like that, buy the stuff directly from the artist if you can, because they get to keep 100% of the proceeds. So, speaking of proceeds and helping out the artists and podcasters, t-shirts are still available. Go to my website, jeffroyds.com/merch, just merch, or podcast, whichever. It'll bring you to the same thing. Get a Chronicles of Michael Talbot, the podcast t-shirt. And we now have the Zombie Lives Matter t-shirt that is available. More designs are coming. I had to order more screens, and I make them all in my house. I do screen printing and all of that. So they're all, made by these two hands right here in a little room right next door that Jason wants to drill a hole in and run a cable line through for me when he comes up here whenever. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I make them all in house, and all the profits after shipping and cost and the cost of the t-shirts and ink and everything else goes to help keep the podcast going, helps keep it ad free. So there's no interruptions. It's costly to do this. It's free to listen to. It's free for you guys. It's not free for me to put all this on. So if you could, help a brother out, they were great. They're $20 and $6 shipping and handling, which I found out yesterday. Chris, I mailed yours out. You guys all got your t-shirts.
oh heck yeah.
I'm eating it in shipping costs, so I might have to raise the shipping costs a little bit. I got to figure that out with my web stuff, but not saying I need more money from anybody or anything like that. Fine, whatever, it gets worked into it. But for right now, if you get into it now, it's just $6 shipping and handling. I won't get
Buy
them
your shirts
done.
now.
Yeah, before I fix the fuck up. If you order them this week or next week, I'll be on vacation. I'm going to be in airplane mode. I'm not talking to a soul. I'm going to be in Jamaica. My toes are going to be in the sand, and I'm going to be sipping some margaritas and Carib beer all week long because that shit is all inclusive. It's not free because we paid for it in advance, but
Yeah.
yeah, I may forget what day it is, and I hope that's the case because that's a
If you
vacation.
if you tip the bartenders,
Yep.
they'll add more liquor to your drinks too. So
See,
like it
I
is
just
free.
drink beer.
Oh
That's
yeah,
the
we
thing.
had all kinds of mixed drinks when we were
Did
out
you?
there. So
I'll
we
probably
were
have a
enjoying
couple, and
ourselves.
we got a stack of 5s, 10s, and 20s for tips for the
Yeah,
hotel
and
staff, you know?
don't listen to the people at the airport when they tell you to exchange your currency.
Mhm.
The American dollar is worth more to the Jamaican people than their currency is, and then you don't
Yeah,
have to do conversion math in your head.
right. We thought about that too. I asked me and Mary were talking about that. It's like, should we get Jamaican money? It was like, no, wait, the American currency is worth more. They'll probably
Yeah.
want our money versus their money. So,
Now it was kind of nice that we did
mhm.
bring back some of the Jamaican currency just to kind of have as a souvenir. You
Yeah.
know,
Mhm. Yeah,
so
we get
we did
stuff from
that.
Mexico, we get stuff from Canada. This will be the first time we're
Yeah.
going. We had to get passport books. We have a card to go to Canada and Mexico, but we had
Yep.
to physically get the passport book to go to Jamaica because
I
it's
didn't.
a British island.
I didn't know the passport card worked for Mexico. I thought it only worked for Canada.
No, it works for both connecting states, countries.
Oh,
So if you want to go to Mexico, you just need the card.
okay,
Learn
nice.
something new every day. So,
You gonna do the illuminated swim with your wife?
what's that? Is that something
So they
dirty? Because
take
we'll be
you.
doing that.
So they take you out on a boat like after sunset. They take
Yep.
you out into this nice lagoon,
Hmm.
and when you're swimming around in the water, it activates the bacteria in the water, and they bioluminesce.
I would love to do that. Mary will say that'll be a big hell no for her getting in the water in any tropical island because there are sharks.
Yeah, no,
And
I
even
said the
though they're
same thing.
not, they're on other sides of the island. They keep it safe like that. She will not go. I'm going scuba diving. She will not go scuba diving. She'll dip her feet, but that's about it. And she's got the
Yeah,
shark app that tells you where the sharks are. So she'll be on that thing 24/7 looking at it.
we didn't do none of that. Like we did the bioluminescent, and my wife, she love her to death. She was the first fucking one in the water. She's like, we
Nice.
only got 45 minutes. I'm getting in there right now, and I had to keep bringing her back to the boat because I wanted to make sure that if we did get attacked by something, it happened to
Yep.
somebody else in the group and not us. And I'm like, you're getting too far from the boat. Swim back over
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. We're in a tropical we're in tropical waters. Anything can be down there. I've seen too many movies.
Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
so but all right. That is all for us for today. Thank you very much. Short show next. I forget the date that will be, but whatever the next show is, whatever Wednesday at 6 p.m., we're going to be doing the God's Undoing. So do it. And then after that, we're going to jump into the Book of Riley series. And then we are done for all of Mark's physical books. Then we just are jumping into the short stories after that.
Uh, Honestly, I think at that point in time, 23 should be out.
Yay! That'll be fun. And
So
then hopefully
yes,
by that date and time, we've gotten unconfirmed word that Parent Plague 2 will be available. Wink,
fingers
wink.
crossed.
So very excited to see what those characters are up to and who he's going to get to narrate it, to continue the series. I have no idea who
Yeah,
is
I'm
going to
busy
do
that
it.
day.
All right. So maybe I'll step in for you.
I
So
appreciate that.
no problem. Chris, thank you very much. All of you out there watching, thank you very much. Chronicles of Michael Talbot, the podcast, 5-star rating and review on Amazon, Audible, Spotify, wherever you listen to the show. It really helps us out. Boosts our numbers, boosts our ratings. You guys are great. Thank you all very much. Have a great weekend. If you're in the hurricane zone, stay safe, shelter in place, whatever you need to do. If they say get out, get out. Don't be one of those hoo-has that's like, we're going to ride it out. And then they got to come rescue you because you're putting yourself and the rescuers in danger, which is a bad thing to do. Okay, getting off my
Yes.
soapbox. You guys are awesome. Have a good night. Thank you.